The most common choices we have for canvas and painting are cotton and linen. I'm going to tell you why I think one is clearly the better answer. What I have here are two common canvases that I keep in my studio. They're very similar to one another in terms of specs. This is 12-ounce cotton canvas. This is 11.5-ounce linen canvas. They're both single weave. The difference here is that the cotton canvas is actually what's known as a duck fabric, meaning that there's warp fibers on the loom when they make the canvas, and then there's weft fibers that they weave across the fabric. And the duck fabric has two weft fibers that go back and forth every time they go across. The linen canvas just has a single fill as opposed to a double fill, so there's just one fiber that's going back across. That means that the cotton canvas is going to be a little bit tighter weave, it's going to be a little bit more uniform, and it's theoretically going to be a little bit harder to tear. The linen fiber, like I said, is single fill, single weave, and it's going to have a little bit more texture to it. You can actually see that it's a little bit easier to see through this, so when it comes to strike through, that's something to consider. Now, this is a little bit less significant a conversation if you are mounting your canvases onto panels. But if you are actually using stretched canvases, we want durability within the fibers that we're using. We want durability in the fabric that we're using, because a canvas can lose up to 50% of its structural integrity in the first 15 years of its life when you stretched it. They become fragile objects, and humidity is going to make these things move over time. So I want to know which one of these fabrics is going to do a better job. I'm going to make a little incision, and I'm going to make a little incision along both sides. And when I do that, this fabric rips very easily. I don't even have to cut the cotton, and I can rip it. Linen fabric, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a little incision, and I can't tear it. I can't tear it. It will not tear. What's that mean? It means linen is a better fabric when it comes to painting stretched canvases. That's because it's actually a much stronger and much longer fiber. It's flax plant. They actually uproot the whole plant when they make the fibers, because the root carries more structural integrity when they harvest it that way in terms of making linen fabric. It has longer, stronger, root-based fibers. The cotton is coming from cotton bulbs off of a cotton plant, and they strip those cotton bulbs off of the plant, they run it through a cotton gin, and then they make fibers. So even though this was technically a stronger weave in terms of fabric, it's easier to tear because the cotton fibers aren't as long. So I'm probably pulling the cotton apart more than I'm actually tearing the weave of the canvas. If I had a double fill weave of linen, that's going to be a tight, strong canvas, and there's actually portrait grade linens that do that job. So when it comes to dealing with canvas, and specifically when it comes to dealing with stretched canvases, if you're going to go that route with your paintings, I think the linen wins.